It looks like things are very hot in the GSC Game World office right now. Patch 1.9 is cancelled and testers just leaked details that Sergey Grigorovich himself would probably be in shock. Old bugs are returning and the patch features have been fully exposed. Turns out it's going to be a free content update featuring a new mission, a new location, some bug fixes, and those new loading screens fans have been begging for since day one. But most importantly, a mysterious door leading to cut content will open in the game. Hello Stalkers, DLSS is on the line. Today we will break down all the inside info shelf by shelf and find out what went wrong. What mysterious door will the developers open for us? Sit back comfortably by the campfire, we are starting. They promised to start testing the patch at the beginning of the week, but in fact started only at the end. Right away with the bad news. Exactly 3 months have passed since the last update. Started popping up on the testers' social networks. Old sores are returning in patch 1.9, FPS drops when using the PDA have appeared again, and some NPCs enter Herobrine mode. Of course, I cannot exclude the human factor. It is quite possible that the tester could have left tails from deleted mods, which are breaking the game. Let's hope that by the release of the patch these screw-ups will be fixed. But it is known for sure that they will fix the spawn of a huge crowd of mutants in one spot and other bugs that you are probably sick of after the last major patch, if you were waiting for patch 1.9 to become a salvation for optimization. Roll your rip back up. According to rumors, GSC simply do not have time to split into 2 versions of the game, as all forces are thrown into updating the engine itself and developing the first story DLC. Because of this, I will assume that the patch will not be as massive as you and I would like. And a couple of days ago the community manager shattered another dream. The open collimator site for the AK will not be added in this patch after all. Stalker 2 is keeping pace. Yesterday Nvidia announced DLSS 5 for the RTX 50 series graphics cards, which will use real-time AI to enhance the image, pushing it closer to true photorealism. Since GSC is actively partnering with Nvidia, DLSS 5 support is just around the corner. But while we wait for the official tech drops, the modding community isn't just sitting around. Right now, there's a highly anticipated mod in the works that introduces an unknown artifact mechanic. Think of it as a Stalker lottery. You find a mysterious empty shell, hand it over to the eggheads to activate, and you get a completely random artifact in return. You might score a god tier drop, or you might just end up with a useless radioactive piece of glass. Now we move on to the sweetest part, the leaks. The same community manager let slip that the patch will open a certain mysterious door. The community immediately exploded with theories. Tester Vatislavovich warmed up the audience significantly, and many believed that they would open Laboratory X16 or the gates to the Iron Forest for us. But attentive fans from the GSC Discord conducted a real investigation. If you play Stalker 2 with Discord turned on, it shows your location. And guess what? All the testers were hanging out in the garbage region at the same time. They spent a ton of time there, clearly exploring something. The circle of suspects narrowed sharply, and today the community manager dropped some info about a new quest. So it's a safe bet that this quest is going to take place in the garbage. What the fans themselves think unlikely. If the testers were in the Iron Forest, Discord would have displayed the Iron Forest, so this door is either a descent to the lower levels of Lab X18 or an expanded S.T.A.L.K.E.R location. There are simply no other options. I noticed a lot of testers have their Discord game activity enabled, which completely leaks their current location, and for the majority of them it highlights the garbage, the exact spot where those closed gates to the Iron Forest are located. Now let's turn on our logic. The Iron Forest and the lower levels of X18, mentions of which were found back in the localization of patch 1.4, are strictly tied to the upcoming DLC. X16 is generally located in Yantar. These options drop out. Tester activity is recorded strictly in the garbage. What do we have in the garbage with closed doors? That's right, the underground part of the slag heap. Before we descend into the undergrounds, let me tell you what this slag heap generally is. Its real-life prototype is the interim spent fuel storage facility of the dry type, or ISF-2. The contract for its completion was signed back in 2007. And here is how they talk about it behind the scenes of the zone. They say ISF-2, the nuclear scavenger, the slag heap, it's not just a shelter among radioactive trash. It's a fridge for something that the zone spawned even before we learned to understand it. And if all this accumulated fuel ever burns to the end, oh boys, the CNPP will seem like a kindergarten to us. And the coolest thing, the concept of ISF-2, which became the slag heap, migrated to the final game straight from the cancelled Stalker 2 of Twin to the LN. And it is not the only one. From 2011 into the heart of Chernobyl, they transferred the fused helicopters that became the Siamese wagons, the gas station near the cement factory, the water tower in Zalicia, the updated S.T.A.L.K.E.R. Building the perimeter wall and the gravitational combine, which has now become the Bulba anomaly. The garbage in general has undergone colossal changes during development. Take a look at the screenshots from very early builds on Unreal Engine 4. Here we see an old factory, a huge electrofield, early versions of Varan's camp, the slag heap itself, and Vontor. But how much stuff went under the knife? For example, the gorgeous concept art of a bandit pub right on the slag heap. And also, according to the original idea, there was a full-fledged arena in the depot. In the garbage, it is unknown at what stage it was cut. But just imagine we could participate in fistfights right in the garbage, or place bets on stalkers. But let's return to our mysterious door. Have the developers really decided to let us into the undergrounds of the garbage already in patch 1.9? Everything points to this. According to the original plot, a secret little faction of diggers inhabited beneath the slag heap. Deep in the bowels, a huge hidden gravitational arch anomaly was planned, which spawned rarest artifacts by the ton. Local dealers set up closed mining there for sale on the black market. Skiff was supposed to descend into these mines to investigate the affairs of S.T.A.L.K.E.R, who started getting sharply and suspiciously rich. But the most explosive thing, these catacombs were not just a dead end. They represented a long underground passage that ultimately led the player into a previously unexplored area of Laboratory X-18. In the release, S.T.A.L.K.E.R story was rewritten, linking his wealth to artifact scanners. The massive undergrounds went under the knife. Next to the slag heap, there are still strange game design decisions left. For example, one of them is a closed ladder. Seriously though, now you can use the free camera as Rudy showed behind the caved-in tunnels and hermetic doors at the foot of the slag heap. You can find physical stubs of that very location. Pieces of unfinished catacombs, storage rooms where developers even forgot to remove the loot spawn points. There lie energy drinks, ammo, and bread that cannot be reached honestly. And what do you think is hidden behind that very door? Still the gates to the Iron Forest or one of the X laboratories? Write your theories in the comments. I read everything. Do not forget to slap a like on this video and subscribe to the channel so as not to miss the review of the patch itself when it comes out. DLSS was with you, good hunting stalkers.